Today we will be building on our knowledge of Stephen Douglas and his idea of popular sovereignty. He was born in 1813 in Vermont, which is in New England, and he died in 1861 in Chicago, Illinois, which is also in the north. It's not in New England, but it's still in the north. Okay? And so, one thing I want to emphasize is the time period that he lived. He was born in 1813 and died in 1861, which is when the Civil War begins. So, what does that tell you about him? He lived during a time period when the North and South was constantly at odds with each other because of slavery. He also lived during a time period where cotton was king, right? He was born after the cotton gin, so that's pretty much all he lived through. So that influenced his belief system. Okay. And the only other thing to note here is that he is known as a famous orator. Orator's a famous speaker. He was a great speaker. And we'll be talking more about his idea of popular sovereignty as we move forward. He was reelected as senator from Illinois in 1858 after a series of eloquent debates with the Republican candidate Abraham Lincoln, who defeated him in the presidential race 2 years later. Douglas left New England at the age of 20 to settle in Illinois, where he quickly rose to a position of leadership in the Illinois Democratic Party. In 1843, he was elected to the House of Representatives. One of its youngest members, Douglas gained early prominence as a dedicated worker and gifted speaker. Douglas embraced the lifelong enthusiasm for national expansion, giving consistent support to the annexation of Texas and the Mexican-American War, taking a vigorous stance toward Great Britain in the Oregon boundary dispute, and advocating both American land grants to promote the transcontinental railroad construction and a free homestead policy for settlers. In summary, he was an ardent supporter of Manifest Destiny. So, to highlight here, first of all, I want you to note that usually when Douglas is talked about, he is discussed with Lincoln because of their famous debates. And he is an ardent supporter of Manifest Destiny. He believed it was the destiny for the United States to take over the continent. Douglas was elected in 1846 to the U.S. Senate, in which he served until his death. There, he became deeply involved in the nation's search for a solution to the slavery problem. Trying to remove the pressure from Congress, he developed the theory of popular sovereignty, under which the people in a territory would themselves decide whether to permit slavery within their region's boundaries. Douglas himself was not a slaveholder, though his wife was. He was influential in the passage of the Compromise of 1850, which tried to maintain a congressional balance between free and slave states. The climax of Douglas's theory was reached in the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which substituted local decisions toward slavery in the Kansas-Nebraska territories for that of congressional mandate. The act's passage was a triumph for Douglas, although he was bitterly condemned and vilified by anti-slavery forces. So, one of the things that is key to know about Douglas is his advocacy and support for the idea of popular sovereignty, meaning people should vote to choose whether they want slavery or not. So he wasn't someone who said slavery was bad or slavery was good. He just said the people should make the decision, not Congress, right? The people in that area should make that decision. This led to a significant opposition from the North and anti slavery forces because it allowed people to support slavery if they wanted.